Wednesday, May 15, 2024, your source for combat sports, live here at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm Rich Mancuso. Welcome in, everyone, to Keep It in the Ring. As always, in my social media, scrolled at the bottom of the screen, Ring786, formerly Twitter is now known as X, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, other social media platforms. We're live here on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also the same on the AGT network and our Facebook Keep It in the Ring page. And to Twitch followers out there, thank you for following and watching as well. The fight schedule of importance scrolled also throughout the hour and so or more that we have tonight. As always, scrolled at the bottom of your screen. It is, as I always say, boxing season. Got two big shows coming up this weekend. We'll talk about that, including the heavyweight unification, finally. Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, and Emmanuel Navarrete going for another title. I'm going to have pro wrestling talk, bottom of the hour. Going to bring in a couple of former ECW stars, part of a big show that I'm involved with this weekend in South Jersey. I'll give you the details more about that and some UFC notes, plus much more. Comment as we go along. Subscribe. It's free, my friends. This is Keep It in the Ring, and I'm Rich Mancuso with my great producer in the back doing it all, Carl Roberts, who I'll bring on also throughout this broadcast, especially with the wrestling segment. So let's get to it, everyone, this Wednesday night, May 15th. Let's recap briefly. 36-year-old Vasily Lomachenko, who's not lost his skills at all. We saw that on ESPN and Perth, Australia this past weekend. The 11th round stoppage over George Kambosos Jr., the former lightweight champion who wants the throne to Teofimo Lopez. You know what? This was not a night for Kambosos. We know that. He wasn't in it from the beginning. Makes you wonder what's next for Kambosos Jr., who once dethroned Teofimo Lopez, also had that lightweight title to his distinction. No more now, because Vasily Lomachenko, at 36 years of age, was dominant, and he is back. He is back. Now a four-time champ in three weights, taking the vacant IBF lightweight title. He broke Kambosos down from the beginning to the end, and he moved and dropped Kambosos twice in round 11 at 249. It was over. Lomachenko, 175 of 480 punches thrown, 36 percentage it was for a 36-year-old. Not bad. There are the scorecards, all for Lomachenko from the beginning, as you see. 115 power punches, body shots. This is Lomachenko in his prime. This is not a diminished Lomachenko. This is a gained and an aggressive Vasily Lomachenko at 36 years of age has not lost his skills. He is now once again a champion in the lightweight division and many good fights ahead. But I will say a fighter who is not on a comeback trail, he never was, but regained the championship that he said he should have never lost. And now he's a part of the lightweight division, and a division that looks to unify once again. Of course, Teofimo Lopez was the unified champ. The takeover at 135 moved on to 140, where he's trying to do that now. Now Lomachenko has that chance. You know, my friends, I saw Lomachenko like I've never seen him before. And I've covered many of his fights, including a few in New York City at Madison Square Garden. He looked good then. He looked even better on Saturday. Does this say that Kambosos Jr. was not the viable opponent, that Kambosos just has lost his skills? Well, that wasn't the same Kambosos who was bloodied as well from Lomachenko's onslaught from the beginning. This was not the Kambosos Jr. that I come to know, that many of you come to know. He fought Teofimo Lopez and took the title from him and looked so much better than that. Was it ring rust? Probably not. Diminished skills? That's always a question when a fighter loses like that. But for Vasily Lomachenko, who many said was diminishing in his skills and no longer had it and would never be a champion again and was out of this title mix, well, you can forget about that. ESPN promoted top-ranked fighter. Of course, he was going to stay at the top. And now he has stayed at the top. So what's next? after this masterpiece for Vasily Lomachenko? Well, there's talk here. Gervonta Davis right away, who is part of this championship picture all the time and has an upcoming fight with Frank Martin on June 1st. Well, Lomachenko and Martin trading jabs already. He's after Frank. Let me get Frank first. That's of course, what Gervonta Davis, that's his first objective. Beat Frank Martin, then we could talk maybe a Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis fight. Now, many say that Davis is the top 3 fighter in the world today, pound for pound. I don't dispute that at all. Lomachenko once pound for pound best before he fell apart a little bit. You know, it goes up and down who the best pound for pound fighter is. Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko, a fight that could have happened a few years ago, appears that could be next for Loma. And he always says that he said this, Lomachenko, right away. I always take the fights. He's going with where he's got to go. First, he's going to take some time off, be with his family, and then talk about the future. Yes, a fight with Gervonta Davis would be a good one, and it could be put together. Promoters are starting to work together. In this case, they could probably work together as well. Would it be at 135 or will Davis move to 140? Davis stays at 135. That's what he likes. He feels that's his natural weight or the catch weight. Lomachenko, of course, is not going to 140. He's staying at 135 or a catch weight to defend his title and take Davis's title. Or there's a possibility that Emmanuel Navarrete could jump up in weight and go after Lomachenko's belt. Navarrete will talk about his upcoming fight this weekend in a moment. But a very interesting development in the lightweight division because many did not expect Vasily Lomachenko to show the skills that he showed on Saturday night and how he manhandled George Kambosos Jr. It shows that Vasily Lomachenko never lost his skills. To sum this all up, was many questioned he might have, but now is a champion again, and that was his goal from the beginning. Regain a title, and now he has it, the IBF version of it in the alphabet soup world of boxing, as I always say. So Lomachenko is back. Who does he defend against? That we will wait. We won't know that probably for a couple of more months or so as he takes a well-deserved rest and joins his family in the Ukraine. An interesting co-main event on ESPN as a part of the Lomachenko-Kambosos Jr. main event. The former world champ, Pedro Guevara. The controversial 12-round split decision over Andrew Mahoney for the vacant WBC interim super lightweight title. Judges had it twice, 115-113 and 116-113 for Mahoney, pretty wide. Mahoney felt he won this fight, even if it was at 115-113, which I had, but not for him. So Mahoney got very aggravated afterwards. He's been known as this bad luck fighter, and immediately said in the ring with vulgar language, I am retiring. He's had enough of the controversial decisions not going his way. I don't expect Andrew Mahoney to retire. Expect him to just cool off a bit and get back in there. Not right away. Top Rank has always been high on him and his brother, the other Mahoney brother. But right now, he says he's retired. He's fed up with boxing politics and is walking away because he felt he won this fight. I felt he lost it 115-113. Very close, but controversial. In this case, I think the three blind mice, the judges that I always call three blind mice, got it right. But not 116-113 for Mahoney, who got that end of the stick from one of the judges. Perhaps 115-113, but he did not win it. I thought he lost it by a narrow margin, and now he says he's retiring. And this happens on that card. And you know what? I make my share of mistakes all the time as a columnist, as a writer for websites I write for, including NewYorkSportsDay.com, LatinoSports.com, Streampunk Entertainment, wherever I am. And I make my mistakes broadcasting every week. I know that. You don't have to point it out to me. We're human. We're naturals, just like ball players and fighters. We're not robots. We're bound to make mistakes. And anything we do in life. But this guy really botched it up. Dan Hennessy, the ring announcer there in Perth, Australia for this card, and really embarrassing because England's Nina Hughes was declared the winner because of Hennessy's mistake. The WBA bantamweight bout for the title, and then all of a sudden the mistake was made, knowing that Shanika Johnson was the winner, and he had to clarify that. So Hughes obviously was upset. She thought she had regained the title, then she loses it, and now Hennessy's getting all attacked and has decided to leave the ring announcing business in boxing altogether, or combat sports. All kudos to what ring announcers do. They don't have an easy job. You think the fighters have they have a hard job? Ring announcers just as much. They have to wait, compile the scorecards, and make sure they're correct when they come in. But in all due respect to Dan Hennessy, who's known in Australia and doesn't do many fights ring announcing here in the United States at all, if not any, Hennessy obviously goofed and is bound to make a mistake. This was a bad botch, though, because one fighter here standing in the ring thinks she's won the title, and another now all of a sudden hasn't won it. So that's humiliating for a fighter to hear something like that. Hennessy got it wrong, then it was corrected, decides to resign and gets attacked, even death threats on social media because of that, which is totally uncalled for. Hell, I make mistakes. I don't get death threats, and I'll apologize when I make the mistake. But this is a goof and a botch, and it is embarrassing, and I'm going to give him, Dan Hennessy, the time of day. It's understood how he feels right now, and I hope he does well wherever he decides to do from here on in. But this was a mistake, and it's bound to happen once in a while. But because this was such a major, major fight for a title, and because it happened on national television, if not worldwide, ESPN out of Australia, that made it more embarrassing for Dan Hennessy in botching the decision. So, as Cody Rhodes always says, well, what do you want to talk about? And I got to talk about what I talk about all the time. You know, Ryan Garcia. When does it ever end? It never ends with Ryan Garcia. Social media, day after day, on his X on X and on Instagram, and bragging that he doesn't have a wife and he doesn't have a girlfriend. He wants one desperately, that he's going to do this, do that. But here's the latest. If you know this already, and I'm sure you do, the executive director of the New York State Athletic Commission, Kim Sumler, has resigned. That's known now. Ryan Garcia spit it out, but now it's known. And she said for personal reasons, though she might have been asked to step aside. I haven't been able to get an official word from any of the New York State Athletic Commission officials that I know, some of them, of the hierarchy there. But there's the statement. And Kim Sumler says she's resigned because of personal reasons with her mother or the family. Ryan Garcia says otherwise, that she resigned or she was forced out because of the steroid investigation that they might, Ryan Garcia said, botched up. And again, as I said last week, I agree with Ryan Garcia here, because New York State Athletic Commission, again, with all the strict medical protocols of testing for fighters, from everything from urine samples to everything else, EKGs, whatever. And then they test Ryan Garcia before the fight and after the fight. And before the fight, they can't say that he tested positive for this one steroid that is banned. And then it comes out after the fight that he tested positive for this steroid. Here again, the New York State Athletic Commission is not right here. With their protocols as strict as they are, and they come out with that, and you wonder if it is a conspiracy against Ryan Garcia, who is not well liked. Let's face it. Talented fighter as it is, Ryan Garcia continues to be knocked and criticized because of his antics on social media and out in public. He's in Saudi Arabia now. He's going to be there this weekend, showing himself all over on the Zone and pay-per-view because of the Fury Usyk heavyweight title fight. He's made that known today. He's on his way to be with the princes and kings in Saudi Arabia who are going to welcome him in open arms. But the New York State Athletic Commission is listening to his appeal, and if it goes against Ryan Garcia, and many think it will, he will be disqualified, and Devin Haney will have the win. Of course, he still retained the title. But Garcia is now filing his lawsuit against the New York State Athletic Commission, and Devin Henney's lawyers come out with a letter to the New York State Athletic Commission filing a lawsuit stating that Ryan Garcia's win should be overturned because he purposely missed weight. He did miss weight purposely. Many do believe he did. And because of the illegal steroid usage, which again is subject to question on my end. Many feel he did that purposely as well. And until we get a final determination to find out who's telling the truth here, we might never know. What we do know this, when this investigation, appeal and all that is over, we do know this, Ryan Garcia could sustain this loss, could be fined and suspended by the New York State Athletic Commission and numerous athletic governing bodies, alphabet soup organizations in the sport. And that will hurt his career even more because he's always going to have that steroid allegation out on against him. Despite other fighters getting similar allegations and being implicated and found guilty of using an illegal substance, they've come back. But they've always had to fight their way back to say that they were respectable. And we're getting a comment now in the lawsuit, and thank you, TJ, that's my buddy there, who has a show on Facebook. I'm going to have him on the program sooner or later. And the lawsuit says that Ryan didn't test after the weigh-in. They couldn't find him until later in the evening to test him. And I wonder if that's true as well, how deliberate that was, who's telling the truth here. We just hear things, but we can't get to the particular source. Neither can I. I mean, I'm not on this every day with everything else going on in sports that I cover, besides as much as I'm on top of boxing and contact sports every day, 24/7. But to me, again, someone botched up here. To me, again, is Ryan Garcia telling the truth? That remains to be seen because of his reputation. The matter at hand here now is Ryan Garcia going to be fined and suspended? The matter at hand there is Ryan Garcia going to move on from this. The matter at hand is Ryan Garcia really doesn't care. He's got an awful lot of money. He's doing whatever he wants. His boxing legacy right now in the balance because of this. So it has to be straightened out. It has to be corrected. And Ryan Garcia has to stop with the antics and come out and tell the truth. But he won't do that because he's a social media phenom on Instagram and on X, formerly Twitter, every day, 24/7, one thing after another, including this stuff. He's now looking at a war of words with Gambosis after Gambosis' loss. He's also getting into wars with X tweets with my good friend and promoter Lou DiBella, who also promotes Gambosis Jr. So George Gambosis Jr. and Ryan Garcia, they're going back and forth with Lou DiBella. It stemmed from a Mother's Day thing where Ryan's accusing Gambosis of whatever, one girl, somebody going to bed with a fiance girlfriend. I really don't care. It's just a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of stupidity. But I show it because this is Ryan Garcia at his best. And Lou DiBella went on the defensive with it because if Ryan Garcia is such a great Christian and he's saying things that he says and about Gambosis, his fiance or wife going to bed with someone, whatever it is, Lou DiBella going on Mother's Day, it's not appropriate. And I agree with that. But this goes on every day. Every day. And really, who cares what Ryan Garcia's got to say about Gambosis Jr.? Who cares what Garcia's got to say about this one or that one? Who cares what Ryan Garcia? Well, you know what? I show it because he wants it to be shown to make him look that much more stupid. And so does everyone else on social media. They're getting a kick out of this. It creates numbers for them as well. It doesn't create numbers for me. It creates talk for me and more controversy about a young man, a young fighter who's so talented, but because of his antics, can't show that talent. He's got to show the stupidity and immaturity in him, and he continues to do it every day. All right? And if Ryan Garcia and I have to have a barb about this and talk about it, I'll let him know. I've mentored many young people over my lifetime. He might be more difficult to one to do, to even to talk some sense into him, because he's a mind of his own. Because he smokes weed, he says that openly. He drinks, he says that openly. And he's also got a mental illness, which he's come out and said he had. He needs more help than what he's getting. So Ryan Garcia, get your act together. Hopefully next week I won't have to rant and rave 10 more minutes about you. Even Conor McGregor getting into this. He's calling for Ryan Garcia to be banned. Banned. And questioning his mental stability, as we all do. Conor McGregor, of all people, he's going after Ryan Garcia now. What are your thoughts, folks? Comment. Let me know here on the Keep It in the Ring page live, on the AGT Network live, and also on my channel, YouTube. Subscribe as well to all. Comment and subscribe. Let me know what you think of Ryan Garcia. Should we continue talking about Ryan Garcia every week until he comes up with his next fight? Let's move on, as I want to do. Canelo Alvarez coming off his win against Jaime Munguia, looking at his next options. David Benavidez still in the talk, if the money is right. But David Benavidez is also talking about David Morrell, the undefeated young fighter. Maybe at 175 pounds. Benavidez right now focusing on his next fight, June 15th, on the undercard of Gervonta Davis, Frank Martin. But still, there's talk about him and Canelo Alvarez. There's even talk now at Garcia looking at Benavidez. At what weight? Who knows? And I wouldn't even look at that as something happening. But David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, a fight again, as I've been mentioning the last few weeks, as we all talk about every day. If you're a boxing enthusiast, you know we want to see that fight. If the money's right, if they could come to terms, Benavidez maybe takes Canelo at 175 or goes back down to 168. The money has to be right for both. Benavidez would want certain amount. Canelo would want 10 times more. In the meantime, Canelo Alvarez, coming off his fight with Jaime Munguia on pay-per-view, did not do as well as we thought. Didn't break 1 million buys. 550,000 pay-per-view buys, and that's not a good look for Canelo. So he might be diminishing his popularity, or is that a statement about pay-per-view when it comes to the sport of boxing? Numbers have not been as good, and we haven't seen that over 1 million chart or more. I guess since Canelo's unification bout, or with Conor McGregor and Pacquiao and mega fights like that. We might get to see it on Netflix. We'll talk Fury. We'll talk about that coming up in a moment with, of course, Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, which is going to be spectacular. But Canelo's not drawing on pay-per-view, and he's the face of boxing, supposedly, and he's the one that draws pay-per-view numbers at a significant level and drives in a lot of revenue for everyone. So I'm surprised at that fight, only according to the latest count, 550,000 buys on pay-per-view against Jaime Munguia, which was the fight with two undefeated Mexicans and two Mexicans looking for supremacy, not undefeated, as you know. So we'll see what Canelo's next option is. Right now, he's taking his rest and hiatus till September, where he'll pick and choose his next opponent. I don't think it'll be Benavidez. And who knows at 168 who he's going to get next. Maybe Morrell will be his guy. I don't know. Edgar Berlanga is the guy supposedly the mandatory, though, what WBA says, for Canelo next in September. We'll see. All right. Speaking about Fury and Usyk, we finally have the unification bout that's been pushed back for a month or more because of an injury to Fury. On his own pay-per-view, ESPN pay-per-view and pay-per-view.com this Saturday from Saudi Arabia, which will be Sunday there. And no tail of the tape here to size these two up, Usyk and Fury, because you don't need a tail of the tape in a heavyweight division. What you need in a heavyweight division is a face for the sport. It always was that way in a heavyweight division. Here's Fury in great shape today at the media workout in Saudi Arabia. The fighters are there getting ready. Press conference on Thursday, weigh in on Friday, the fight Saturday night. for the unification of the heavyweight titles. Of course, Fury with the WBC title. He's held that for the longest. Usyk with all the other alphabet soup titles. And they're going to look to unify. Who wins this fight? Well, it's going to be a heavyweight encounter. We know Tyson Fury. We know that he likes to brawl. We know that. He likes to brawl, and Usyk will stay with him. Two heavyweight behemoths will go at it, and should be an interesting heavyweight fight to finally unify this title in the heavyweight division again, which we haven't seen much of since the Klitschko brothers, and even then it wasn't unified, or when Evander Holyfield reigned supreme. You know, the heavyweight division has not had a real good unified face of the sport. And maybe Lennox Lewis for the time he held it, or even Mike Tyson. We might get it this Saturday. And I say might because it could end up being a draw. There is a rematch clause in the contract, so you could expect these two to fight again. And then who would be in line? If something happens to Tyson Fury, he loses, he might just say, I'm done, and retire. Usyk becomes the unified champ. Then you have Deontay Wilder in that mix still. You have Anthony Joshua in that mix. You have Joseph Parker in that mix. There's a ton of still in that heavyweight division that could vie for the title. But my friends, I will tell you from past experiences, as you know, with this sport and the way the face of the heavyweight division goes and the way it goes, we may never see a unified heavyweight champion ever again. We might get it one time, briefly, depending on the outcome Saturday night, which I think will end up in a draw. I don't think Fury is going to lose this fight. I don't think Usyk will lose this fight. They're going to want to do this one again. I could see this fight going the distance, and I could see Fury, if he does go down, coming right back up like he always does. He can take a punch. He's powerful. He throws it as well. Usyk doesn't go down much as well. I mean, this guy's unstoppable out of the Ukraine. But to have a face of the sport to be the heavyweight champion, that's the route to go. But I don't think we'll ever see that, as now Canelo Alvarez still, to many and in my opinion, is the unified champion at 168 and the face of the sport. We'll see what happens Saturday night. Usyk or Fury. The first time. Will they do it another time? We're tuning in for that. Also on ESPN Saturday, well, here we go with Emmanuel Navarrete. We have another good show conflicting with the one on pay-per-view. This is ESPN. It's free. Emmanuel Navarrete opposes Denis Berichek for the vacant WBO lightweight title, and that's in San Diego on ESPN. Now, Navarrete, you know, one of those exciting Mexican fighters who stays with you from the first punch to the last. He's trying to join an elite group of Mexican fighters that have had world titles in 4 different weight classes. And all of those great Mexican legends are all in support and inspiring Navarrete the past few days. Juan Manuel Marquez, Eric Morales, Leo Santo Cruz, and Jorge Arce have come out publicly to say they are supporting Navarrete to win this fight. And if he does, he joins another group of legends of Mexican icon fighters. Iconic, along with Canelo Alvarez. That's going to be a good one, though. Navarrete and Berichek for the vacant WBO lightweight title. Does Navarrete move up in weight after this and vie for something even more at 140? So we got some 2 good, interesting fight cards this weekend, and we have another one coming up that's a spectacular, the extravaganza that I really don't even care about, but we got to talk about it because it's on the calendar and it's going to be big. They had the first of 2 press conferences in New York City on Monday for Mike Tyson, and Jake Paul. The disparity in age, the extravaganza it is on Netflix pay-per-view, July 20th. By the way, if you have a Netflix subscription, you don't have to pay extra for the pay-per-view. That's what they say. There is a press tour that continues tomorrow, this one in Texas, where it's being held at AT&T Stadium, home of the Cowboys. Of course, Tyson has vowed to win this fight, many saying he will. But interesting that Tyson vowed to have and vouched for 2 minute rounds instead of the customary 3 in a sanctioned fight, because he said he's serious and that he wants to show the world that 2 minutes is better than 3 for him to take out Jake Paul. They are friendly. This is all show and tell and playing with each other as they did Monday in New York at the Apollo Theater. And why not? It's a moneymaker. And I'd love to know how many of you are going to tune in to buy in on this. I'm not. I don't want to see 58-year-old Mike Tyson. I've been telling you repeatedly since this was announced. I don't want to see him get hurt. It has no significance to me, a sanctioned fight of no significance at all. It's all show and tell for both. Tyson will make a ton of money. He needs money. Paul always makes money. And Jake Paul also is not taking his boxing career seriously enough because Mike Tyson is his next opponent on July 20th. But on that card, it's interesting because you want to see the rematch with Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor, and of course they're having their rematch from their sold-out epic fight at Madison Square Garden a few years ago. Matchroom Boxing promoted it. And Serrano was under Jake Paul's MVP promotion banner. It's going to be a good rematch between Taylor and Serrano. They wanted to rematch each other. And, of course, Serrano has healed from a cornea injury that forced the cancellation of a last fight in Puerto Rico that was sold out. And this one will be sold out also in Saudi Arabia. And Serrano, of course, and Taylor made history as the first female fighters main eventing a major card at Madison Square Garden. So that fight I'd have an interest in watching on the Netflix July 20th show. So Dana White in the news a couple of days ago. After his USC event, he's saying there's going to be more cross-promotion with WWE now that Endeavor and TKO have merged and they're together. He's going to see more WWE stars at UFC events and vice versa, UFC stars at WWE events, and the Endeavor TKO merger is doing that. It's been successful, but then he brings up the point that you're going to see this power slap on Friday nights. And with the exception of WWE WrestleMania, which is 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday, WWE would be moving back to their standard Sunday PLE pay-per-view events, as always was the case. So you would have Power Slap Friday, you'd have UFC Saturday, and then you'd have WWE on Sunday, where it always was. So that's interesting coming out of Dana White over the weekend. And then this, before we do some more UFC news, congratulations to our buddy Jimmy Rivera, the bare knuckle fighter we had on the program last week. Came out, unanimous decision over Daniel Strauss Saturday, Mohegan Sun up in Connecticut. Now 1-1-1. He threw a lot of power punches. He came out victorious, unscathed, gets the win as he said he would, and moves on. Daniel Strauss was a formidable and good opponent for him. There are the final punch stats. There's one of those power punches and bare knuckles from our friend Jimmy Rivera. Congratulations to him. And then his ring entrance, which was superb, coming out with the American flag. Was he a New York City firefighter, I believe he was, or he has a flag there of the American flag over him. Spectacular entrance for Jimmy Rivera and a great win. Congratulations to him. And this UFC absurdity would look at Derek Lewis after his main event KO win over Rodrigo Nascimento. He ripped his shorts off in the octagon, jogged around, and mooned the fans. Then he tossed his nasty cup to the fans in the arena. Boo of the week. Smell of the week to Derek Lewis. Come on. Entertainment? That was not keeping it in the ring, my friends. That was keeping it in the octagon the way he wanted to do it. But Derek Lewis came out victorious. More UFC news on the program next week. Up next, pro wrestling. That's entertainment. And we have 2 exciting stars. Used to be with ECW, now with ECW. Jason Knight, who's running a show this weekend in southern New Jersey. Tell you more about that, and I'll also give them the fact of the week. We have a lot going on. Oh, by the way, before we move on, condolences to UFC pioneer One Glove Zimmer. What was his name? One Glove Jimerson, 60 years of age. UFC 1. Was a boxing rep, former pro fighter in 3 different divisions. He was known as One Glove Jimerson because he would come in the ring or come in the octagon. Usually there's 2 gloves. He only wore 1. So condolences to him and his family at 60 years of age. All right. Keep It in the Ring up next. Continues up next. We'll do the pro wrestling talk, as I said, and I'll bring Carl Roberts in too also. We have a lot of pro wrestling news as always. My social media handles, again, X formerly Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. We're live on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, on the AGT network, and also on our Keep It in the Ring page. Stay with us, everyone. I'm Rich Mancuso. The pro wrestling coming up right now after this brief timeout on Keep It in the Ring. All right, the talk continues. We Keep It in the Ring with Rich Mancuso on the AGT Network Live. My channel, YouTube, Rich Mancuso, and a Facebook page. Keep It in the Ring. Like, comment, and subscribe. And do comment, folks, on the program and on social media. Get me, Ring786X on Twitter and Facebook.com. And in the picture right now, I'm looking forward to this because Saturday night, I get back on the commentary table with Jason Knight's Assault Equinox XXV1 at the Viper Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Carl, put up the logos and the posters before I bring these 2 handsome guys on. The Fan Fest from 4 to 7 p.m. free. 8 p.m. the first match. AC, and you can get your tickets, acwsimpletix.com, and on pay-per-view. For a limited $9.99 fee, and you get to hear me, EVT.live, ACW. Jason Knight brings this on to all of you, the former ECW superstar, along with my 2 guests right now on the program. Welcome in, guys. There's that? My ugly. All right, look, I want to bring in Tommy Cairo and Robbie Rebel. There's Tommy and there's Robbie Rebel, who know each other, who are a major part of this great card of pro wrestling on Saturday night down there in Williamstown, New Jersey. Guys, it's been a while. Thank you. And Tommy in particular, I look forward to working with you again Saturday night at the commentary table. You're going to have to excuse my rust a little bit. I haven't called a wrestling match in a while, but I'll do my best with you because I know you got a big mouth.
Well, you know, Rich Mancuso, brother.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait, wrong voice. Sorry, wrong voice.
I really look forward to it, though. Tommy, what you been up to before I get to the Rebel guy there?
Well, it's been interesting over the last couple of years. I actually lost my lower left leg, and then I proceeded to break my hip, and then I had some heart issues and A to Z, like Sheik would say, the A to the Z. But miraculously, I'm doing pretty good. Everything's status quo. All
good. How old are you now, Tommy?
I'm 66.
Of course, Tommy Cairo has had a history. ECW, if you know the angle with Sandman and Jason Knight and Peaches and the blind man gimmick and all that stuff, and everyone remembers that, including myself in ECW. You were one of the part of that. You were part of that, Tommy. That ECW. What should I say? The phenomenal events down there at the at the 2300 Arena that still exists there, and they do boxing shows and those ECW events. And you have you were a big part of that. A lot of history with that.
Yeah, I have a big part of history that a lot of people don't realize, but that's okay. Sandman and I did a full year of Singapore canning matches in every capacity that you can imagine. And, it still rings true today. People, really, when you look at it, the two of us started the whole hardcore movement. The Attitude Era really was us. It took us a whole year that we did that program.
With Paul Dangerously, Paul Heyman. Yeah.
Yeah.
How was it before we get to Rebels anxious to come in? I don't want him body slamming me Saturday night at ringside because he's waiting for me. Tommy, how was it working with Paul Lee? Jason Knight told us that a couple of weeks ago before his induction in WWE Hall of Fame. How was it working with that guy?
I didn't like it.
Why is that?
Because I think he was nothing more than a glorified pitchman.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
All this genius come from, I don't know. But needless to say, I had my time there. I was glad to go. And my 20-year, career is not just ECW. So. Not a big fan.
Yeah, but you came out of there with some history behind you with the Sandman feud.
Yeah, but we did the work.
Yeah,
we did the work, and I could have done that work under anybody. I could.
Okay, that is a good point. The guy that right now bringing into the picture is a part of this great show on Saturday night with Jason Knight's Assault Wrestling Championship Wrestling and Equinox XXV1, part of the Fan Fest in Williamstown, New Jersey, at the Viper Center, and on pay-per-view, EVT.live ACW. I got to bring in Robbie Rebel, who I don't know much about because I've never worked with him before, but he's an active wrestler. He's on the card. He's a good one from what I'm hearing. Robbie, I don't know how what I'm going to get from you right now, but welcome to Keep It in the Ring. Thank you for joining me.
I do appreciate it. A funny story about how you were talking about the 2300 Arena. That's actually exactly how I got reintroduced to Jason Knight, because me and him had a match when I was around, I think, 18 years old, and it was for a guy named Gino Caruso. So there was a fan fest that was going on the 2300 Arena. And I ended up going there because one of my friends does a podcast and everything. So I thought I would help him out. And I go up to Jason and I asked him if he remembered me. And he then asked for the match that we had. Luckily, I actually was able to send it to him. And then it was kind of just history from there. He's been very close to me recently.
Yeah, and you've been keeping it in the ring. You've been very active.
I've been trying. I've been trying a lot.
You got a good I've got to know more about you, and I will on Saturday. But you got a match with Damian McDonald. What's his name? Damian McDonovan. Is that it?
He's actually going to be my manager.
Okay, you're with him, and something. Fans are going to expect something from that Saturday night. You don't have to tell us, but you've been saying on your social media to expect something big Saturday night from you.
Well, I did just put a challenge out recently that the person that I'm working or versing or fighting or whatever you want to call it, his name is Gimmick. So my little joke to him was, I have a gimmick for you, brother. I'm going to put up one of the belts that I'm holding on to different companies. So if he has a little bit of a shot at me, if he wants a little bit of the spotlight, whatever he wants, come and get it. And I also called out the promoter that allowed me to do that. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be an interesting match to watch, and there are about 9 matches on this card, maybe 10 from what I see right now. Tommy Cairo, with all this history, do you know Robbie? Have you two ever met?
You know what? Anybody who it's hard for me to say. Robbie, I know I've seen you. I know we've been in the same building, I'm sure. But as far as these younger guys go, a lot of them I met when they were really young, and I don't remember. I've had
It's all
schools,
good.
I've had training centers, and it's hard. And I don't want to diss anybody, and I don't want to
No.
get anybody feel, hurt by it. It's just that between getting hit in the head, and I'm 66, and it's
Nuts.
years and years and years overlapped.
It's all good. I know you've been working with one of someone I know pretty well, Tony Cini.
Yeah, Tony. I made a comment of a picture he put up, a post, and I said, "Where you better get to the gym." So he called me. He called me, and I put him on a program, and I've been monitoring him. And every once in a while, I'll go to his gym and make sure he's making progress. But I want to say this: Jason and I know each other from my first months in the business, because I was trained by Ted Petty and Bobby Bold Eagle.
Mm.
I was at Bobby Bold Eagle's place, and I met Jason, and we got in the ring together. I mean, maybe we said 10 words to each other, and we got in the ring. They said, "You want to work out? Yeah, let's work out." And we were the only two out of the bunch of guys that were there that were training that could actually work a match, and we hit it off. And
well, Jason's great. I could tell you that. I relate to that because when I met Jason I was in the business back then, the first guy that I identified with was Jason Knight. Just a great guy to deal with and knew the business already. And now he's promoting. I mean, it's Equinox XXV1, Saturday night, Williamstown, New Jersey, the Fan Fest, and then the card. And you got ECW guys. Mickey Wilperbreck is on the show, and the EC referee Jim Molenax, I believe his name, and Joe Gertner is a special guest. Of course, Tommy Cairo and you and I are going to be doing the commentary, and there's going to be a panel studio show before that, and we're all going to be on pay-per-view together, evt.live/ACW. Rebel, you grew up, how old are you, Rebel?
I'm 33 years old.
Okay, so you're not new to the business, but you're relatively still new school compared to an old school guy like me and Tommy.
Well,
so
I was definitely trained old school. I was down in Atlanta with Mr. Hughes for a while. So the old school was pushed real hard with that.
And what should we expect from you, Robbie Rebel, Saturday night?
Saturday night. What to expect from me?
And what did you have a move that I have to know that I don't know, the world doesn't know?
I got two moves. One it's called the greatest move on earth. It's a hangman's neck breaker with one arm, and the other one I call it the shocker dropper. It's kind of like the famouser, but I use my knees on the back of the guy's head instead of the legs.
Sounds pretty awesome and dangerous to me.
You might get your teeth knocked out.
You're not going to knock my teeth out. I don't have many left. Neither does Tommy.
So Robbie, not yours, Rich. I'm talking about that guy gimmick.
Well, you never know. I've made some enemies with wrestlers over the years by my commentating and my writing. I don't know if I'm going to get that out of you, Robbie. But Robbie, how long will you go on with this career? And tell us, how does it feel wrestling on a card promoted by who was sort of a legend in Jason Knight?
The latter question, it's an honor, a true honor, especially someone that I grew up watching, because I wasn't just a WWE guy. I was watching ECW, I was watching WCW, I was watching old NWA tapes. I've always been huge into that old school. My favorite of all time is Bret Hart. I love just the whole I would say like just the technicality of it, the telling the story of it. Anyone could do a move, anyone could do a 450 splash, anyone could do a backflip off of this or that. It's all about the timing, it's all about when you're supposed to do it. That's what I love about it.
Do you like the way the wrestling business is being run today? And Tommy, I'm going to ask you the same question because you're old school like me. Robbie, take that first. Do you like where it's at right now?
I don't, because what's funny with this day and time now is that wrestling has always been a kind of like a play off of stereotypes, a play off of things that kind of draw the line, and a lot of people now are so sheltered by some things and so easily offended that it's hard to play on those lines. And those lines are what really made what a babyface and a heel were. So it's hard because no one wants to see a straight up good guy anymore. But if you're bad enough, people are going to cheer for you. So where do you get that draw for people who are especially already not wrestling fans? You want to grow a crowd. You don't want to pander to the people who are already watching consistently.
Good point. Tommy, what about you? Your take on this business right now, the wrestling industry? WWE, of course, AEW, the two main ones, and Tony Khan with his antics with AEW, and of course WWE with their Endeavor deal and TKO.
Well, I mean, the business is evolving, constantly evolving. We can't blame the state of the business on these young guys. It's not their fault. There's no territories for them to learn. Work is limited. Any decent work, anyway, is limited. Where you can make even enough money to make it to and from the building and have something to eat. Or some of these guys aren't getting paid at all. I mean, I don't know what the answer to that is, other than the fact that there's a bunch of indie promoters that aren't really promoters. And
so that's a good point, guys. And did you bring up Tommy? So what makes this independent promotion, which had been backbones of pro wrestling for years from the beginning, what makes Jason Knight's Assault Championship Wrestling so different from the others and is a great backbone now for the pro wrestling industry as another option?
Because very few promoters are former workers. So you got a bunch of idiots trying to run indie shows when there's so many little things that have to be brought together. It's like a pie. 8 pieces of the pie working synergistically together to create the best opportunity and best result.
And Robbie, you're shaking your head. I assume you agree with that?
I definitely agree. I also think that it's a lot of promoters are out to pop the boys in the back and not draw a crowd. That's my biggest thing with it.
They're catering to their own little whimsy.
And Jensen, both of you you've had experiences with it. Robbie, where have you wrestled recently, as we wrap this up in a moment? Where have you wrestled recently prior to this one Saturday night with Jason Knight in Assault Championship Wrestling?
Recently, I've done a show called ECPW, which is on Long Island. That's where I'm based out of. I did a little bit of thing with this group called LTW. I was doing part-time stuff in there to get my ring, stay on top of my ring stuff. And just random one-shots. There was this place that I worked with called Excite. It was a great company to work for. I think there's another guy that runs that was actually from ECW that runs it. And right now I'm kind of just getting back into the groove of things with different people.
So obviously you don't do this full-time.
If I did it full time, I'd be broke.
Right. Well, if I me, I mean,
full time, I would.
The way the business I'm in right now is the way it is. I'm going broke as an old man. That's why I'm on the way out. But I won't be on the way out Saturday. I'm coming back on the commentary table with Tommy Cairo, and Tommy. I look forward to reuniting with you on Saturday. Any final thoughts?
I just think that this is going to be something a little bit different than you've seen recently. It's a conglomeration of a bunch of people put together, and I think it's gonna show it. We're gonna show people that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna run down the card again. A lot of ECW alumni will be there with Jason Knight, the promoter for Assault Championship Wrestling. Carl, put up the poster one more time, and then I'll get the guys that are going to not go away till they get the fact of the week with me. Saturday night, Williamstown, New Jersey, ACW StimpleText.com. Also on the pay-per-view, evt.live/ACW with yours truly and Tommy Cairo doing the commentary with a respectable $9.99 fee. You could buy it. No, I'm not a legend as it says. I thank everyone for the promotion putting that up. But I'm coming back on the mic to do some pro wrestling. I'm looking forward to it. Iron Man Tommy Cairo again with Robbie Illuminati, Steve Desmond, Eric Stevens, the special guest announcer Chris Reckner, ECW's Joe Gertner. Everyone knows about him. Jason Knight, Pitbull #1, Gary Wolf gets Mickey Wolperek and Johnny Kashmir and the back seats. And you got Tony Myers, Peter Beautiful, Andrew Anderson, Alvin Alvarez, Steve Sater, Robbie Rebel right there, and Damian McDowell versus with a gimmick, and the Violence, Josh Adams, and the Rage with Chaos, the Speeds versus the Carlsons, and Magic versus Samuel Harris. It goes on and on. Tough Tommy Frame versus Eazy-E, and the Black Hand Society, Eric Black and Rihanna Black versus Anthony and Fran Chinny. Everyone knows I'm way bad with names, but not with pro wrestling names. Guys, this is going to be exciting, and I look forward to that journey down in South Jersey Saturday night. Robbie Rebel and Tommy Cairo, before I let you go, every guest on Keep It in the Ring, I give him with the fact of the week. It's not trivia. You got to try and get it. Carl Roberts, roll it, and let's see if our guys can get the answer. All right, guys, you ready to take a crack at it?
Sure.
Let's give it a shot.
All right, I know. And then body slam me because I botched it up too. Here we go. In the years of pro wrestling, tag teams have been so, and you know that, both of you know about how significant and great tag team champions and wrestlers are together. And we had the Colognes, Carlito and Primo. They had the distinction of holding their tag team titles. Third longest tag team title reign in pro wrestling history was Carlito and Primo as tag teams. The fact is, it's not trivia or question. Can you take a crack at how many days they had that? It's the third longest in pro wrestling history.
Third longest.
World tag team title?
Yeah, the Colognes, Carlito and Primo.
How many days? So
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's under a year. I don't know. I'm going to say 600 days.
No, that's too much, too long.
Okay.
All right.
I'd
Good
say
shot at it. Yeah, Robbie.
Like 250.
Close. Almost got it.
Oof.
The new guy, the young guy got it, Tommy. 280 days. Close.
Ooh, nice.
Nice job. I don't know what I could give you for almost coming close, except I hope to provide a good call of your match on Saturday night.
I would.
Hey, remember this, though. They didn't win it that many times. They were allowed to keep it that many times.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Of course. Don't we all know that's how the pro wrestling world works, Tommy?
Yeah.
Of course. Hey, Tommy Cairo, Robbie Rebel, good chatting with you guys on Keep It in the Ring. Spread the word about the program every week. But we will see you at ringside Saturday night. I look forward to it as Jason Knight's Assault Championship Wrestling comes to Williamstown, New Jersey. Fan Fest from 4 to 7 p.m. It's free. First match, 8 p.m. ACW, simpletix.com. The pay-per-view, $9.99, evt.live/ACW. Jason Knight's Assault Championship Wrestling. He's a major part of the show, going to be a major part of what's going on there, along with that man, Robbie Rebel, and my colleague, at least for one night, but longtime friend,
Yep.
it is Tommy Cairo. Keep it in the ring, guys. Thanks. We'll see you Saturday.
Thank you, Rich.
See ya.
Thank you, Tommy. Have a good one.
All right. Great having them on. Great. Just great having those guys on, talking pro wrestling, and looking forward to seeing them Saturday night. Carl Roberts, thanks for lining that up, my great producer. That was fun. Where are you, Carl? Carl, come back in because we're not going away, right? We're not going to take. We're going to go right through with our pro wrestling talk, me and you, then take the final break after that. First, I hope you can make it Saturday. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm enthused. I don't have an aching pain in my body right now. I just can't wait till Saturday night.
And the funniest part is I actually remember Robbie Rebel was with Dino when he first started out.
Yeah, and I look forward to working with Tommy Cairo. I worked with him many years ago. It'd be good to be back with him. All right, let's look at AEW real quick. Dynamite's going on right now on TBS. I don't know what's going on. I frankly don't care. But I saw this on Collision again, and I had to show it. This was a horrible chair shot by Swerve, the champion. I forgot who that was underneath, but his adversaries that turned on him.
The embassy with Swerve.
Terrible. That was terrible. They should have cut away from it. You don't see it there really well because we can't show the video, but he entirely missed it, and they played it that he hit him with the chair right there on the steps. Right. Terrible. In the meantime, Swerve has his issues.
Right.
Double or Nothing, defending the title against Christian. That's going to be a good main event. I love Swerve, and then we have the continuing saga that's developing more tonight that ends up with Double or Nothing at the end of the month in Vegas on AEW on that pay-per-view. Claudio's not going to get involved in a takeover situation with the Bucks and the Richards and Bryan Danielson. He doesn't want to do it, but I expect he will.
Yeah. So the group with Moxley, Danielson was in the ring. They were going against two other guys, and they trying to take him out at the end of the match. And all I know is Khalid came down. I was trying to follow along. I'll have to rewatch it after this, but yeah, it's AEW to me is like not what it used to be. And no offense,
no.
WWE's getting in the same way right now to me.
No, it's to me a dying promotion, despite what Tony Khan says. Again, the ratings are not doing well. The angles are dead. I don't know, and that's why they're doing this takeover gimmick to try and spark the interest. Has a little interest, but could only go so far. However, WWE, they continue to take it to another level. Though since WrestleMania, it doesn't have that buzz that it does. And that's always expected post-Mania all the time as they come into King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia a week from Sunday or Saturday.
Right. So as I know right now on the Raw side, it's Gunther versus Jey Uso Monday night. SmackDown hasn't decided yet because you still got 4 guys going at it. But I'll be honest.
Well, you know what I could see too? Gunther gets the King of the Ring, and it could lead to an eventual Jay Cardle and Bianca Belair feud. Could end up leading to Rey Mysterio against his dad again, against his son Dominic. The problem with WWE right now that they're confronting is to get around all these injuries that are going on.
Right.
So many of them, one after another. And Zelina Vega was the defending queen of the ring. She's out injured. She's not. I mean, we wait for Charlotte Flair's return, which is not imminent. No. And you got McIntyre, you got CM Punk. They say may come sooner than expected, but he's very visible on their telecast on Raw and Raw. You need The Rock back as soon as possible. You need Roman Reigns back as soon as possible because even with the bloodline angle, don't know where that's going with the brothers all coming in.
Well, they changed
crazy.
Tonga Loa to. They changed it a little bit with his name from Tom Tomga Loa,
right?
Tanga.
I saw that. And I don't understand the me. I have no idea. Regardless, you know what? There is still an interest with WWE and King of the Ring, Queen of the whatever it's called in Saudi Arabia, where the princes and kings are dominating everything right now over there. It still has an interest. It's not a major PLE event for them, but it leads up to what they probably want to go forward for with SummerSlam, which will be approaching.
And also, too, with that, supposedly either before SummerSlam or the Castle one that they're supposed to have the PLV.
Yeah, there's so many of them.
Yeah, Jacob.
They got into that. They, like I said, they're an international company right now. They would do the UFC and the merger with TKO Endeavor. They love that. The money's being made overseas with them, and that's what they're going to do. Again, the major pay-per-views stay, Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam in the States, the others all over the world. and they're making money doing that. So why not? But
don't be surprised if you start seeing WrestleMania not here in the States,
which would be a travesty. That's a travesty. They do that. It's a complete travesty and turnoff. They can't do that. They can't do that to the wrestling fan for the United States to go overseas to watch WrestleMania. That's not right. And I hope they don't do that because it's going to be a complete turnoff. Anyway, everyone's anticipating the return of Uncle Howdy. Yes. And we're getting the cues. Put this up, Carl. These are clever clues. Did you get this one?
No, I did not.
Did you get that? The missing woman might be Alexa Bliss.
No, I didn't get that. But all right. There's a bunch of them that are starting to reference, and you're starting to see what's going on with those.
Yeah, well, when you open up the QBT code, which I don't know how to do, I'm the worst. I could never do that. I'm going on what I read and when it's revealed. This one came out. When it's revealed, it comes out the letters, and it says Wendy Lucho, W-E-N-D-Y, and then L-U-C-H-O, and spelled and reverted, that comes out to the letters and meaning Uncle Howdy.
Yes.
So you know it's Uncle Howdy. It's going to be him. Will he debut a week from Saturday at King Queen of the Ring? That's everyone expecting Uncle Howdy and the Six to make their debut at that PLE next week.
But there
and Alexa Bliss.
It'll be
it could be Monday Night Raw. Yeah.
King of the Ring. Well,
it could be Monday Night Raw. Yeah. But interesting because that's the storyline right now. To me, it's not the bloodline. To me, it's not who's winning King and Queen of the Ring. It's Uncle Howdy's well-anticipated return that's going to continue interest with WWE. All right, Carl, great job as always. Before I say goodbye for now, Carl, where do fans get you on the AGT Network on YouTube?
Main Event podcast, which is airing tomorrow night at 8 p.m. right here on the AGT Network, talking about UFC, MMA, and bare knuckle fighting. Special from our good friend Jimmy Rivera.
Yeah, and I got to speak to Jimmy. I don't have no way of reaching him. I need to reach him. So reach out to him for me. I want to congratulate him personally. Carl Roberts, my great producer. Thank you. Be back in a moment. We're going to wrap this all up after this brief timeout again on Keep It in the Ring with Rich Mancuso. Reach me on X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. Live on the AGT Network on my YouTube page, Rich Mancuso, and the Keep It in the Ring Facebook page. We're here with you every week. Come back, wrap it up. The nostalgia note of the week in boxing, and a few other notes here and there, very brief. And again, to remind you about the Jason Knight ACW Pro Wrestling show, where I will be Saturday night commentating at ringside. Back with Keep It in the Ring and wrap it up right after this brief time out. Stay with us. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Keep It in the Ring with Rich Mancuso. Thanks for being with us each and every week. And by the way, yesterday was my birthday, and I want to say this live to you all. I got so many, and I want to brag about it. I don't look at myself as this big-time media celebrity. I do this because I enjoy doing it and informing. I've been doing it for 43 years, whether broadcasting or more so in writing. I mean, I have a voice for radio, not TV or YouTube, internet as we are today, so they say. And Keep It in the Ring, I love it. But, you know, it was my birthday yesterday, and so many on social media reached out to me, and I want to say this from the bottom of my heart or the top of my heart or whatever. Thank you to each and every one of you. It shows that not only you have respect, but that you take an interest in what I do. And you're like my second family out there. Let's face it. Okay. And I want to thank you again for those great birthday wishes. I'm here, a year older, and I hope to be here many more years after I retire, which is going to come sooner or later. It's got to happen. I have to start moving on and enjoying my life in my later years. But thank you again for the great birthday wishes. They were fantastic. I will savor them forever. All right, Nostalgia Week, savoring things forever. Take a look at this because we come on a milestone this week. May 18th, 2002. Mickey Ward defeats Arturo Gatti by majority decision for the junior welterweight title in a bout at the Mohegan Sun up in Connecticut, the first of the three great in that trilogy between Gatti and Ward. This one, the first one, tabbed as fight of the year with the dramatic 9th round stoppage. Mickey Ward defeated Arturo Gatti that first time. The history of these two, just fantastic. They were bloodbaths in boxing. Not that you want to see that or I'm a proponent of it, but it happens in the sport. But they went at it. That first fight and two more after that. In fact, my great friend and longtime trainer, Joe Botti, who I will have on the show, maybe next week I'll have Joe on and talk about his book that I reviewed and many have read. I have it here somewhere. And it's he wrote about this trilogy and about the Gotti-Ward relationship and the Gotti brothers. And we'll talk about that. But we're coming on that milestone of that first fight of the three, May 18th, 2022 this week. Mickey Ward defeated Arturo Gatti, majority decision. Great for boxing, that was. We may never see a trilogy like that ever again when we've had some good ones, but nothing beat that, especially that first fight between the two. All right, we're going to wrap it all up now and remind you again about Assault Championship Wrestling, Jason Knight show, coming up Saturday night. Put it up again, Carl. There it is. I'll be there, ringside commentary with Tommy Cairo. We're going to have a fan fest from 4 to 7 p.m. First match at 8. About 10 or 8, 9, 10 matches. ACWSimpleTix.com, where you can get your tickets. And if you can't be there, listen, watch me and Tommy Cairo. There's going to be a panel show before that as well. $9.99 on pay-per-view. Great price. EVDT.live/ACWs, where you can order, and we'll keep it in the ring together. It's going to be a great event Saturday night with Jason Knight, the promoter. A lot of ECW alumni, including Mickey Wupperich and Jason Knight himself, the promoter, who was an ECW legend. And it's at the Pfeiffer Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. It's Assault Equinox XXV1, the one of many more to come, according to Jason Knight and ACW. Simpletext.com. Get it. EVT.live/ACW pay-per-view for $9.99. I will be doing the commentary with Tommy Cairo. I look forward to it. I look forward to letting me come into your homes now, as you do every week, and Saturday night. That's going to be a fun event. I'll recap it for you next week on the program. Well, next week, either going to have Joe Botti on, talk about Gotti Ward, or Xander Zayas, the super middleweight contender. Oh, not super middleweight. He's at 154, fighting him at Square Garden in a couple of weeks from Puerto Rico. I hope to have him. Top Rank is trying to line that up for me. He's highlighting Madison Square Garden on Puerto Rican Day weekend coming up the first week of June at the theater in the Garden. And next week, we'll wrap everything up again and preview what's coming on. We're in boxing season, UFC season, of course, pro wrestling season all the time. We've had a guest here with Tommy Cairo and Rebel Robbie. I really appreciate them coming on. And Carl Roberts, my producer in the background. Always great job, Carl, for putting up with me each and every week. And to each and every one of you, thank you again. As always, we keep it in the ring. Social media, get me, X, formerly Twitter, Ring786, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, other social media platforms. And also read my content. NewYorkSportsDay.com, LatinoSports.com, StringPunkEntertainment.com, among other outlets where you can read my content on not just wrestling, boxing, and combat sports, but the baseball, the soccer, and everything else that I do in this busy and hectic life. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for staying with me and putting up with me. I love you. I love you all. Believe me, from the bottom and top of my heart. Stay well, be good to each other, and as always, as I say, till next week, I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Keep It in the Ring. Thank you.